You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, General Hospital fans. If you remember, we saw Bryan Craig back as Morgan Corinthos in August when his dad, Sonny, was suicidal. But this ghostly appearance was not enough. We really need Morgan to come back to GH, whether it's a recast or whether it is Bryan Craig. I checked his IMDb. He doesn't have any upcoming projects, so maybe he's got time. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I've got several reasons I think we really need Morgan to come back to Port Charles. And hey, click subscribe if you're not following us. The first reason I think we need him back is about Michael Corinthos leaving. Carly Spencer and Sonny Corinthos are about to lose their oldest son. I know Michael isn't Sonny's bio kid, but they definitely see each other as father and son. That's the first child they shared. And he's leaving early 2025. Chad Duell has decided to step away. He wasn't fired. He decided to step away. For Carly and Sonny to lose their other shared son, it's just a lot to take in. We don't know how Michael's going to go. He could leave town. He could wind up in a coma. They said no death. So basically, those are the two options: leave or stay and be unconscious. Carly and Sonny are going to be upset either way. And getting Morgan back could take some of the sting out of that. Plus, both Carly and Sonny are still burning with the need for payback for his death. If Morgan returned, it could be really healing for them. And if you remember, his body was never found, so it would be very easy to bring him back to life. They could say Morgan hit his head, he had amnesia from the car bomb. Even soapier, they could say that one of Sonny's enemies took advantage of the explosion and kidnapped Morgan and has been holding him. He could be with a, resurrected Alcazar, Ms. Wu, or, pick a villain that hates Sonny enough, and they would kidnap his son and hold him prisoner, maybe brainwash him, something fun. All right, the number two reason to bring back Morgan Corinthos from the presumed dead is closure and peace. And, not only does Sonny and Carly burn with anger every time they see Ava, but we know Dante and Christina feel the same way. Josh feels the way they do. They all wanted to see Ava found guilty of killing the baby because they wanted her punished for Morgan's death and medication tampering also. If he came back, Dante and Sonny and Carly and Josh and Christina, I think would all be so relieved they might let go of some of their anger at Ava. Letting hate fester does not do anybody any good, and lots of fans would like to have Morgan back for real for lots of reasons, some of which I'm covering here. And these ghostly zombie returns are not satisfying because they're not real. My third reason we need him back is that Christina Corinthos is just always sucking up the oxygen in any room she is in. She's on the front burner way too much, in my opinion, and as the neediest of Sonny's kids and of Alexis's daughters, frankly, she's exhausting. And we all know Morgan, he could be volatile because of his bipolar disorder and his fixation on women he shouldn't fixate on, like Kiki when she was dating Michael and Ava for so many reasons. And I think if they brought Morgan back, it would shove Christina aside so he could consume that oxygen. And I would be perfectly happy to see Christina slide onto the back burner for a good long while. She is exhausting. Another reason, number 4 on my list, of why we need Morgan back is because of Ava. She has been plagued by guilt since his death. It would put her mind at ease knowing he survived. Losing Kiki devastated her, and it enhanced her grief about Morgan. And all this is something that Morgan wouldn't know about unless he was monitoring Port Charles news from wherever he might be. Ava and Morgan could bond over them both loving Kiki. However, I also think if GH did revive Morgan, that he'd come back mad at Ava, at least once he finds out the big role she played in his presumed death. If you remember, they hinted at Morgan being alive right after the car bomb. It was like the same episode or like the next episode. There was somebody lurking outside Sonny and Carly's house not long after the crash. They showed that person's point of view, like outside in the trees and the hedges, looking into the windows. And then they dropped that abruptly. But I think it was just a little sign to let us know Morgan survived and for whatever reason, left from where we saw that. So they could explain that Sonny and Carly's son stayed away from Port Charles Charles to work on getting his head on straight, or, go with amnesia, explosion, enemy kidnapping, any of those things. And just to be clear, I am not saying that General Hospital is bringing back Morgan. I'm saying this is why I think they should do it, but who knows what they'll do. Another reason to bring him back is number 5 on my list, also about Ava. We could see Morgan wanting revenge on her. At the time that he was blown up, as far as my memory goes, my recollection, he had no idea Ava had been messing with his meds, replacing them with placebos. And yes, she didn't blow Morgan up. That was her terrible sister, Ava Jerome, who was actually trying to blow up their brother, Julian Jerome, but Morgan stole his car and went boom. But Morgan also wouldn't have stolen Julian's car unless he was off his bipolar medication and running amok, and that was all thanks to Ava. Do you guys remember, this is another drop plot, after Austin was murdered, another drop plot, Ava started getting sent these threatening messages and photos, even the gun used to kill Austin. They could revive that dropped plot and say that Morgan was the one tormenting Ava. Whether he killed Austin or not, he might have witnessed it, he might have been brainwashed and done it. They could absolutely revive that and tie it into a return for Morgan. So another reason I'd like Morgan back, this is number 6, I'd love to see them undo Avery's paternity and change her from being Sonny's daughter to being Morgan's daughter, because realistically, that's who should have been Avery's dad all along, because Ava had Morgan in her bed constantly, and she only had sex with Sonny one time in a cemetery crypt the day of AJ Quartermain's funeral. I am honestly tired of Sonny trying to keep Ava away from Avery. Yes, I know Ava is a terrible person. There's no denying that. But Avery loves her mother, and Sonny keeping them apart at all cost is unhealthy for that little girl. By swapping paternity to Morgan, that would not only give him a tie to Ava and Avery, but it would push him into her life and make things more complicated and soapy. And that would amp up the complications for Ava, for Morgan, for Avery, for Carly, for Sonny. I think that would be great. And a lot of fans have hoped for years to see this paternity swap happen, because Sonny being the dad never really added up. So last but not least, my number 7 reason that General Hospital should bring back Morgan is that we desperately need more single men in Port Charles. Sasha's the right age to date Morgan. So is Willow, if they can get her away from that pervy dummy Drew. And we know Morgan likes to date women that Michael's been with, and Sasha and Willow both fit that bill. Morgan could fall back in with Ava, gaslight her into thinking he wants to be with her when he's really there for revenge. That could be fun. Right now she's been flirting with Rick, but he may not stay. He may decide to actively pursue Liz instead of Ava. So, Morgan would be also, by the way, a romantic option for Molly, because the two of them share no biological ties. He is half brother to her half sister, but there is no blood relation because one is on the mom side, one is on the dad side. So no blood ties. They could date. There's so many reasons for GH to finally bring back Morgan, and it would be a much better return than when, they brought back Jagger Cates for that terrible plot, and much better than all the recent retcons of making newer characters the Secret Kids of Legacy characters. I am all for a Morgan return and would love to see GH make it happen in 2025.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.